Hey, just Matt here, and today I'm going to be doing a trade up to try and get one of these. An ultra low float blue gem 5/7 berries and cherries. Let's get into it. So I came about this trade up by just messing about with some skins on various trade up calculators, when I fell on this. Now obviously if you sell these skins for market price you would be losing money pretty much every time, not even mentioning the trouble you need to go through to obtain inputs with such low floats. But as you probably know, there is quite a market for skins with very low wares, so I hopped onto Buff to check the prices and to calculate if it was profitable. And there we go, it is actually profitable. The trade up costs about 16 euros to do and the estimated value is 18, so profit. But what is very cool with this trade up is you can get the 5/7 berries and cherries. The skin has a low float cap, which means the maximum float is only 0.1. This means that because of how trade ups work, the skin I'll get from this trade up will have an extremely low wear value. Of course, this also means that it won't be very special because a lot more of these skins have very low floats, but it still looks nice in an inventory. On top of this, it's also a pattern based skin, which means that if you get a rare pattern with a lot of blue like the one I'm showing right now, it can be very expensive, like we'll calculate a bit later. So how are we going to find the skins that we need? For the filler skins, I chose to use the Acid Fade because they have a very low float cap and they only have one outcome, which rigs the trade up in our favor. I'm going to be sniping these directly off the Steam community market, so I'll have a lot of refreshing to do to be able to get these for market price. As for the collection skins, I looked around and it seems to be too difficult to get skins in the floats I want for a reasonable price, so I'm going to be crafting these too. The trade up I decided on is this one. I chose the Max 7 carbon fiber because it only goes up to 0.12, so it's going to be easy to snipe low floats for market price. The filler skins were not completely required because the float can be low enough without them, but they're mostly in there for the profitability. So in this trade up, if I get the Dispatch, Magna Carta or Threat Detected, I'll use it in the final trade up. If I get the Urban Rubble or Amber Fade, it's a loss, and if I get a Global Offensive, I'll sell it because it sells for €5.60 on Buff. So let's start by doing these trade ups, then we'll break down the final trade up. So I ended up getting 1 Magna Carta, 2 Threat Detected, a Global Offensive, and no Train Skin, so no losses. I managed to sell the Global Offensive on Buff for 44 RMB, which translates to about €6.50 in Steam Community Market credit, so a €4 profit before even doing the main trade up. So let's take a look at the main trade up. On the losses side, we have the Nitro, which would be horrible because it's only €3 and I would have to start everything again from the start, and I really don't want to do that. So let's look at the nicer results. The first one is the UMP Crime Scene 0.003. If we look on Buff, the closest I can see is a 0018 for 190 RMB, so I think 170 RMB would be the price I could sell it for. So this would be around €9 profit, which I would be happy with considering we already got the profit from the Global Offensive. The second is the FAMAS Crime Conspiracy 0024. So if we look at Buff again, the closest is 0027 for 168 RMB. So the price I would put it up for is 167 RMB or €25 Steam Market, which would also be around €9 profit. And finally, the last one is the Berries and Cherries 0004. So if you get it in just a normal pattern, it would be around 350 RMB, so €52, which would be €36 profit. But let's imagine for a second that we get the best pattern, pattern 80. Now the lowest I can find is 999 RMB. Now obviously this is probably a bit inflated, so let's go for the low end. A standard float berries and cherries pattern 80 would most probably sell easily for 750 RMB or €111 Steam Market. Now considering the float of the skin we would get, we could probably sell it for 1000 RMB or €150 Steam Market value. That would be an insane profit of €134 Steam Market credit. But it starts sounding a bit less cool when you look at the odds of getting that berries and cherries pattern 80. Yeah. But now it's finally time to do the trade up. I'm really stressed for this, let's see how it goes. So I'm putting the skins in. And we need to put in the skins we traded up for, the low float control collection. So let's really hope for this low float blue gem berries and cherries. Come on. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Yes! Yes, that's the control collection. Amazing. Yes. And that is 0.0024. So there we go. I now own the 63rd lowest float prime conspiracy in the world. Low float skins are some of the nicest skins to trade up to in my opinion, because there's just a satisfaction when you know you own something that's one of the best in the world. And it's even better when it's in an operation collection, because the skin you crafted can be traded up into really high tier skins. For example, my Prime Conspiracy, if traded up with similar floats, can get the second lowest float up fade in the world. So as I said before, I'll put it up for 167 RMB, so if you feel like buying it for a low float control collection trade up or whatever you want to do with it, just hit me up on Twitter at justmadcs. I post stuff about CS too, so drop me a follow if you want. So in total, on this video, if I managed to sell the Crime Conspiracy for 167 RMB, I would have made around €13 profit Steam credit, which is not the €134 I was hoping for, but I can't complain. But that's all I have for you today, so thanks for watching, and subscribe if you don't want to miss my one video every 3 months. And I hope you enjoyed the increased production quality.